Good morning, Peachtree Road. It's 11:30. How is everybody? Oh yeah, here we go. Good morning, Peachtree Road. Good morning. Oh, that was better. That was better. Good morning. Welcome to game day at Peachtree Road in honor of the Super Bowl. We like to bring a little fun and levity. I'm glad I wore my colors in honor of
That's right.
Nick Chubb, Jordan. Yeah, okay. So my husband bought me this for my birthday and it was supposed to be late. So he sent me a picture yesterday. He said, it's here in honor of game day. I was so excited I could wear my jersey today. So anyway, thank you all for coming. I know we have a big line out there, but we want to get going because we do have a very, very special guest speaker to talk to you today. And we're going to move right along with, thank you. Aero Exterminators, come on down. Thank you for lunch.
You're welcome. Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Jessica Echevarne, and I am the Real Estate and Builder Services Liaison for Aero. So basically, I act as a liaison between you guys and the offices. So if you ever need a letter, or if you need an event hosted, I'd be who you would call, and I'd get it all set up. Or sometimes you don't really know what office to call, because I know you all work in different areas, so you could call me, and I'd do it for you, basically. And then this is Nathan. I'll let you introduce
My name's Nathan Buckles. I've been with Aero for 5 years. I'm a regional manager for them. Thank you guys so much for the opportunity to allow us to bring you guys lunch today. I love our partnership. We love all Keller Williams offices, and we try to do this as often as possible. So let us know how the food is. John and I were up really late getting stuff together. But thank you guys again so much for having us here today.
My name is Ryan. I'm a home evaluator, so I do all of your inspections on new homes for buyers or sellers, issuing termite letters, and just making sure that y'all's customers and our customers are taken care of.
John Richardson. I'm also a home evaluator. Work out of the Brookhaven office right here off Claremont Road. Like Nathan, I've also been with Aero for about 5 years. It'll actually be 5 years next week. And I've had the chance to work with a lot of you in this room. And to piggyback on what he was saying, we love any opportunity we get in here, get Carnegie, and see what we can do to help your closings be more efficient and help them in the way possible.
So in honor of game day, we're gonna play a game. I know some of you guys were kind of wondering why I came in with a bunch of tacos. We're gonna talk about termites this morning. We're gonna play a little trivia. So if you know the answer, we only got like 5 questions, but if you know the answer, shoot your hand up and you get the golden taco award here. Okay? And it's a friendly game. I know realtors are competitive. Don't, tackle each other or anything like that. Okay, so the first question, what style of home or cladding will a termite not get through? Anybody?
Brick.
Raise your hand. I can't give you an award if I don't see you.
Brick.
Brick.
Any other guesses?
Oh, no other guesses? Can a termite get through any home regardless?
I think she gets
The golden taco award.
So termites are very, very small. So they really can get in through any type of foundation, any type of house. It only takes 1/32 of an inch gap in the concrete or wherever the void might be for termites to get into a home. And once they're in there, they're going to be getting all their friends and they're going to have a big party at the house.
I love this question. Sorry. I love this question because we hear it all the time. Well, my home's brick, so I'm not really going to get termites. Or I'm on a slab foundation, so I'm not really going to get termites. But piggybacking off 1/32 of an inch, every house has expansion joints somewhere. There's always wall voids. The brick veneer, brick cladding is built up, and then it's also framed in between, so there's wall voids right there, and it's really easy for termites to come up and get in there. It does make it hard for us to inspect, but that's why we're very thorough. We do interior and exterior inspections, making sure we're looking for all those entry points and making sure nothing's eating the home.
Okay, this is a true or false, so you got 50-50, okay? Alates, aka the swarming termites, I know you've seen them at your listings. They're the termites going out in search of food. True or false?
False. They've already eaten it.
Somebody raise your hand, true or false?
Sorry.
False.
Oh, we're going to talk about
You get a taco pit.
on that for your tax.
No, so the flying swarming termites, the alates, those actually are not the ones that cause the damage. They're what's called the reproductive termites. It is often the first thing that a customer will see and will alert them that they have an underlying issue. By the time you're seeing swarmers, that colony has gotten big enough that what they're doing is they're swarming and they're breaking away from the colony and they're actually forming a new colony. The ones that actually cause all the damage are the foragers, the little white ones, and those ones you really don't see until you've got a lot of visible damage and you're opening up walls and you're actually seeing how much is going on.
So if you see the swarmers, that means they are there
Right.
already?
If you see the swarmers, that means not only are there termites, but that colony is big enough that they're separating and forming a new colony on top of that.
And then, how about, can new construction get termites? Yes. I don't know who said that.
Anything.
Just go to the box house. Everyone's saying yes.
Who said it?
I saw,
I heard,
oh,
actually,
you did,
I
okay.
heard.
Y'all aren't really nailing this hand raising.
So, Brian, you wanna tell them about?
Yeah, so anytime there's new construction, there's already termites in the ground. So really anytime anybody builds anything, there is potential for termites to get onto that structure. Especially with new construction, a lot of the framing is framed, or a lot of the slabs and concrete are framed pieces of wood. So that makes that really susceptible to termites. But then if they don't remove some of those pieces of framing wood, you know, it's just going to be there under the new house. So it is important to make sure that we treat new construction.
And just a fun fact, Georgia's #2 right behind Florida for most active termites per acre.
Sure we are.
So they say in Georgia, there's typically 5 active colonies per acre in Georgia. So
Got time for one
we
more
have a lot of
question.
business.
Okay.
Yep.
Who can tell me how much a termite litter costs from Arrow Exterminators?
Like $50.
$50, that's right. So $50 to get peace of mind.
I like tacos.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you for lunch. Thank you so much.
Thanks for my tacos.
I'm thinking Charlie has a closing. So, you know that make, oh,
We don't know where he is.
where is it?
He didn't show up today.
Okay,
he got
so
meetings
go.
set. No,
Yeah.
he's got a conflict today.
Okay.
My name's Patrick McManamy. I work with Charlie.
Oh, there you go.
So, and I do various sales meetings. It's just like I've said before. Charlie's very guarded about this office. He doesn't want anyone else coming in this room. One of the topics we've been talking about recently has to do with iBuyers. Does anybody here know what an iBuyer is? Anyone? So an iBuyer is essentially, you know, it's kind of a boogeyman right now in the realtor industry. It's certainly a disruptor. Basically, these groups out there, backed by a lot of private equity, that are able to go directly to sellers of properties, of houses, and buy that property directly from that person, essentially cutting the realtor out of the transaction. But it seems to be something that's here to stay. So it's something that you guys got to look at as a way to kind of use it to your advantage, and there are ways to do that. We're doing some closings right now on some iBuyer transactions, and they are paying commissions. So for a couple reasons, it's a good idea to kind of put it in your toolbox as something to use. First of all, like I said, they are paying commissions, and by implementing an iBuyer, if you're in a situation where you're in that where your seller is going to sell to an iBuyer, you still get to keep that seller for their future transactions when they buy something. So not only are you getting a little bit of commission, maybe not all of it on the sale, you're getting the full commission on the buy, and then you're building a lot of trust with that client. So they're going to be here. They're not going anywhere anytime soon. So you might also have a duty with the rules of professional conduct for the real estate commission to maybe if you have a house that's having a hard time selling, you want to get it off the books. Maybe it's something you want to look at. There's several of them out there right now. So anybody have any questions? If you encountered these?
Anybody had anything?
Yeah, can we sue termites? Well, iBuyers and termites, I figure it's a good topic. Yeah.
We good? Yeah.
Actually, I was sitting in a mastermind yesterday, and it's an agent out in Arizona. They actually work directly with Open Door, and their experience is by having that relationship on the front end, you're able to pose it as an option to your seller. The only thing to get paid is they do request that you get the seller to pay you 1%, Open Door will pay you 2%, so you get your 3%, right? Because if you list the house and sell it to another agent, you're only gonna get 3, and then you'd be able to help them on the buy side. So by aligning yourself that way, that's a good way to, you know, solidify your relationship with the seller, give them that option so that they are aware, and ensure that you're not losing out to iBuyers in the sense that you're taking it on from it.
That's exactly right.
Right. Anybody else? Thank you so much. Okay, real quick ALC committee updates. Can I have the chairs come up real quick and give a, honestly, 30-second blurb on your committee? The forms are here after the meeting. If you want to join one of the committees, you'll have a chance after the meeting to join a committee. Rachel, you need to come too because Miss Janet is showing property. Go.
All right, we'll start with Productivity Committee. And we're extremely excited about this committee because we have thought very thoroughly about the entire office, looking at everyone's production and having goals and aspirations for you, which I know you all have for yourself. So, well, we're going to hear from a football expert. We're going to talk a lot about where you need to be, what fundamentals based on your productivity levels. And so we have 3 categories. We have one called Launch. That's to teach you basics. It's there to help you build some basic knowledge, to develop some basic skills. And then once you have that down, we have another group called Growth. This is to help build consistency, momentum, again, up that skill level, up your knowledge level. And this is to get you to the point before you need to hire an assistant. Then we have a group called Mastery, which means if you have an assistant, there's a whole nother skill set you need to learn when you're about to take on a leadership role. So we have different categories, and so we have a productivity meeting immediately after the sales meeting. But you'll hear these terms: launch, growth, mastery, basic knowledge right there, what they mean. We're going to explain more, and you're going to see it on the calendar. And we'd love for you all to participate.
And then really quickly on that, if you've been in the Market Center this last year, you know we've had a series of masterminds. They were pretty much weekly. And what it is, as Kelly said, is that we want to hear from you. The masterminds are built around you, the way that this Market Center is built around its agents. So if there's something that you want to learn about, it doesn't matter where you fall in the category. Our goal is to help move you through to mastery. So if there's something you're struggling with in your business, or if you're hearing sort of a hot button topic come up, or you're feeling something happen in the marketplace, please let us know. I mean, you can put it in the Peachtree Road group on Facebook. You can tell us in person. You can approach anyone in the ALC. We want to know what you want to learn about, and we will bring in the necessary speakers and top agents and experts to give you that information. So please definitely tell us what you want to hear.
What room is your meeting in today?
Oh, large conference room.
Large conference room for those on the Productivity Committee.
From 1 to 2 p.m.
Karen.
Hi guys, I'm Karen Smythe. I run the Growth Committee. We have a meeting every single Wednesday at 2:30 every afternoon. If you're interested in having the opportunity, the gift of profit share, the gift of Keller Williams, you want to share that with other people, this is the time to be able to learn more about that. Our first session is again today at 2:30. Every Wednesday, you can pop in as you feel like it. We have a mastermind as well on Facebook that you can join. Just get with me and I'll be happy to help you.
And what does the Growth Committee do?
We actually have strategic opportunities for you to learn how to share the gift of Keller Williams with other people. You know, Keller Williams does not have marketing and advertising dollars. They actually just take that money and they pay us as agents to help find great talent, recruit people into the business in any location, in any state, in any country. So as you find someone who wants to start a career in real estate and they write your name down, Keller Williams will actually give you income based on that.
Which is called profit share.
Happy to explain it to anyone. Karen's fine.
Andrew, Tech.
Andrew Wynn with Tech. As of right now, we're still waiting for February 1st, which is when they're going to start rolling out some of the items on command. Our first Tech meeting is going to be February 13th at 12:30. We'll be doing it here in the office if you'd like to come by. Our goal is really to learn the tech in a way that we can simplify it and understand how do we best utilize it in our business. You know, oftentimes there's so much tech out there, so many options out there that you could be using, and it goes back to how are you using it in your business and how does it work for you every day. For me, I'm the type of person, it's too complicated, I'm not wasting my time on it. If you look at my office, I actually use sticky notes to keep track of my clients just because it's that simple. And that's kind of the goal for us to look at tech is how do we simplify it in a way that you will use it every day to better your business. So, Andrew Wayne with Tech, any questions, feel free to stop by and talk to me after.
And we are a tech company that dabbles in real estate. Just saying. Okay. Rachel.
Hey, Rachel Farron, and I'm part of the Culture Committee. And the Culture Committee is essentially in place for you. Our group is just supporting the culture of our office, doing nonprofit work, loving on our agents. We are putting together events so that we can all connect together, groups of agents in different environments. So we're going to be having happy hours. We're going to be putting together some luncheons. We are the people who are spearheading Red Day, which takes place in May, and we're going to have a handful of options for you guys on that day. So anyway, we're, I guess, the fun and party group, so we are here to love on y'all. We're also here if anybody has a need, if something happens and you hear about it in a different agent, let's say there's a death or a sickness or something, like we want to know about it so that we can make sure our agents are loved on. And if there's a need or something in your heart that you feel we're missing as an office, I want to be the person that you come to. So come to me.
Okay. You want to talk about luxury real quick?
Oh, luxury.
Yeah.
Yay.
Thank
You know, we all have a luxury department, part of Keller Williams, and so Jennifer Barnes is the chair for that. And as we know, she's fantastic. She knows luxury, and there are several other agents who know luxury. So the intent of this group is to make you very aware that Keller Williams does have a very significant luxury department, and it is throughout the whole country, and therefore you'll learn what a luxury client expectations are, how to sell luxury, what kind of services and things that Keller Williams offers for the luxury market, and so we're incorporating that. Well, you'll be getting luxury classes, and so
Got luxury also.
Yeah.
Want to talk about finance?
Yep.
Yep.
Finance.
So we also have a finance committee.
We have a finance committee. This office is run, it's a transparent company. Our company are open book companies. And so we learn a lot about how they close their books and how they write their books and they finish their books. So if you'd like to learn more about how you can write a profit and loss statement, how you can do that for your own business, how you can become debt free, how you can have wealth building, it's all about finance, and the finance committee looks at the numbers of Keller Williams Peachtree Road, and then they in turn will put in classes and do lots of programs to help you calibrate your financial goals. One of the classes coming up is called Wealth Building. It's January 31st, and you can learn about what you can do in your own lives for wealth building and towards that process. So they have meetings as well, and you guys get with us, and we'll tell you when they are.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, guys.
yeah.
Okay, real quick, like 2 minutes. Does anybody have a listing that's coming up on the market? Katie?
I have a 2-2 condo. It's ground level in Peachtree Place. It's hardwood floors throughout, stainless steel appliances, white kitchen, and that will be coming live on Monday.
Price?
$270.
Okay, Kelly.
I have 2 townhomes coming up in Turnberry Gates. One's going to go on the market in about a week. It's a 2.5, and then I have a 3.5 at Turnberry Gates coming up in about 3 weeks. I have a Kirkwood listing, a 3.2 with a garage, with single car garage, coming up in about a month, 3 weeks probably, and then we have a few more, but we're about to go live on those.
Okay. Stephanie?
Oh, sorry. 415 for the 2.2 Townberry, 515 for the 3.3 at Turnberry Gates, and Kirkwood 349.
Stephanie?
I have a single family detached home. They totally renovated beautifully the inside. List price $275-ish.
And where is it?
In Northbrook neighborhood in Swanee. To list February 1st. It's a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath with unfinished basement. Great property.
Where did you say, what part of town?
That's in Swanee, Northbrook neighborhood.
Lord.
Yes.
I've got a 3.
Oh, Courtney.
Yeah, it's fine. I got a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath coming up in Roswell. It's off Canton Street, it's over by the mill. It's gonna be priced at $420. It's gonna be a quiet listing.
I have a 3-2
instead of 200 coming up tomorrow.
Awesome, great. Anybody have a buyer need? Carl?
Urgent buyer need. Ideally a minimum of 3 bedrooms, 3 bath, 2 living spaces. Looking at Brookhaven, Sandy Springs, so it's really about elementary school. Hertz Ferry, Montgomery, Ashford, up to about 700, a little bit flexible. The 2 living spaces is really, really important, and they are qualified and ready to go.
You and I need to talk then.
Yes.
Anybody else have a buyer need? Okay, great. Okay, upcoming classes real quick. You know we have Magical Mornings every day from 8:45 to 11, usually in this room. We have a Meet the Market Center tonight. If you know anybody that is looking to get into real estate, have them come over from 5:30 to 7 tonight. Ignite runs Tuesdays and Thursdays, 6 to 9, Saturdays 10 to 1. This Friday, Green Sheets with Ashling at 2 o'clock. Monday at 12 o'clock, Agents and Growth Mastery Orientation with Kelly Chansey. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, like 30 seconds.
30 seconds, I'm a fast talker. So this is, again, like I said, we're very focused on helping you get to the next level in your business. So this middle category is called growth, and this is if you've sold anywhere from about 10 homes to about 24 homes. You can look at 2018 as your record. Or 2 million, or maybe capping to about 6 million. And we're going to teach you again how to be consistent, how to build momentum. We're going to talk about some scripts. We're going to talk about leveraging. We're going to talk about adding systems in place. We're going to talk about how do you juggle when you're an agent doing it by yourself with 24 transactions, and that's a lot to carry. So this is to focus on probably up to the point of needing an assistant. There's a different need there, and it's a different need than if you're starting. So we're going to really focus on that, and my whole goal is to help you guys get into the next category, should that be your goal too. So that is an orientation. We're going to talk specifics, and then I'll tell you how the mastermind will run after that.
Okay, Tuesday the 29th from 10 to 1, McManamy will be here teaching the GAR changes for CE credit, 3 CE credit hours. Put that in your calendar if you need some CE credit. Tuesday from 2:30 to 3:30, the ALC Productivity Mastermind with Ashton Ernst. What's Ashton's topic? Do we know, Carl?
So Ashton is going to be talking about listings and pricing. So being that we talked about, you know, a shifting market and what we felt last year, talking about pricing correctly, price reductions, scripts, and really how to focus on your listings this year.
Okay, put that in your calendar. There is no team meeting next Wednesday because the 8th Annual Atlanta Real Estate Summit at the Sandy Springs Performing Arts Center, and our own OP is on the panel, so we would love for you to support Jean Rawls and attend. So that is next week. Get your tickets today. Bold continues next Thursday. I want you to know Peachtree Road has the most full Bold registrations. I think we're about 31, so go Peachtree Road. Awesome. Wealth Building next Thursday, the 31st from 2 to 4 with Karen Smythe. And Stats the following Tuesday. It is not during team meeting because that Wednesday is our award ceremony. So next Tuesday, 2 Tuesdays from now, the 5th from 11:30 to 12:30, Stats with John Thompson and I. And you know how much fun John is when he teaches his, which class? Ethics. Yes, ethics. So it's going to be that fun. That's why he's doing it. I have a question. Yes.
We are doing a delivery to John's family today. Does anybody live near Norcross or go that way to go home
I do.
today? Who?
I do.
You do?
Yeah, you need help?
You deliver something for him?
This one.
Yeah, I've got it. Cool. Perfect.
Great. Thank you. Yes. And the 6th, from 9:30 to 12, the annual awards ceremony at the Cherokee Town and Country Club. You have all been sent an invitation. Check your spam folder if you have not gotten it. You do need to register. We have 200 seats available. Okay. And from the culture side of it, we're going back to our top 41, and we're going to just go right down the list, and we're going to make decisions that are right for the market center regardless of individual impact. There is no I in this list, it's all we. Yes? Okay. Alrighty, so I am thrilled to bring Coach McFarlin in to speak with you about success winning in adversity. And I figured the best person to introduce him would be his daughter, who is our very own Courtney Lott.
I had to write this down because I can't really remember everything, but so he's been a head football coach for, he's been a coach for 40 years, and in 2019 will be his 19th year as a head football coach. He's won 3 state championships, 1 at Roswell High School and 2 at Blessed Trinity. He's perfect 15-0 and was named Georgia High School Coach of the Year multiple times, and now he is National Coach of the Year by Catholic Athletics. His name is Tim McFarlin. He's dedicated his career not only to teaching and in the classroom, but also coaching on the field. He has a passion for molding his students and his players, and has the rare ability to overcome adversity and maximize all of his players' potential. All of his teams and individuals face obstacles in life, whether it's in the game or business. Throughout his career, Tim has demonstrated the ability to overcome obstacles and achieve great success. So here today is my dad, Tim. Yay!
Is there a podium?
Yeah, you want to pull pull that right up, not a problem. So I thought it was a really good idea to bring in a coach that faces adversity all the time with the Super Bowl coming up, right? Because I keep hearing this word, shift. A shift in the market, which means there could be some adversity to your business. So who better to talk to you than a coach who maybe has had a situation, I don't know, that you go into the locker room at halftime and you're trailing, and what do you do to get your players up and win the game? So I'm going to turn it over to Coach McFarlin. I'm so excited to have you here.
Dory, I appreciate it. Guys, I got to tell you, I was just down at the Fulton County Commissioner's office, and we spoke down there to the commission, and the people were there. We speak tomorrow at Rotary in Roswell. We'll go to the Capitol on Tuesday with the governor, and we got a couple other engagements, and then we'll be speaking at the Glazier Clinic here in Atlanta. And I got to tell you, walking in here with you guys and my daughter's work, I'm more nervous now than but there was great incentives. Number one, Preston looked at me when I walked in. He said, "The things you do for your daughter." Yeah, I know. And but I appreciate Dory offering to cut the commission on the house that Preston and I are going to look at.
I already told Courtney about it.
So I heard all the listings. I was listening to you guys, so that'll be good. Dory had reached out and said, "Coach, would you come in and talk a little bit about adversity?" So I sent her this morning, and did you preface what?
Yep.
So this football thing, which by the way, football, I don't know why, it kind of gives us this crazy platform. You coach high school football or you coach college football, and then all of a sudden people think that you're qualified to go and speak to a group of real estate agents. We spoke at churches this year, and just a little bit about our career. Blessed Trinity, I've been there now for 8 years. This is a post-retirement gig. And for you that aren't interested in football, and I know some of y'all may have things to do today, so if this goes bad, it's on her. But for me, there was a shift after 30 years at one school, and I didn't know that I would do that, but I was at Roswell High School for 30 years. Had the opportunity to win a state championship there, and just had great players. The number of guys that we've had that have gone on to play college, and then a couple of guys that have played professionally. I'll talk about them in a few minutes. So we've been really, really blessed with a lot of people, but at the end of that 30 years, I kind of hit a wall. And it was a time in life when you start to think about what you're doing and, do I want to do something else? And I would imagine for a lot of you, like, Courtney, when she was 7 years in education and then called up and said, "This isn't it," this may be, your second go around at something that you enjoy doing. So I don't know where you are with all this, but I'll give you some stuff that we do. I hope that it works. I don't know that if you may walk out of here in 15, 20 minutes and say that was just totally a waste of time. I hope not. I do want to introduce Preston Bazemore. When I went from public to private, so I got my retirement at Roswell High School. Wasn't sure what I was going to do. Did a consulting job for John Smoltz, who was doing a new school up in the North Fulton area called Kings Ridge, and I went over there and worked with them for about half a year. And that was a lot of fun. because I was spending somebody else's money. And I would go to John and say, John, we need a weight room, we need, he was stroking the checks. And so that was pretty good. Stayed out for about another year and then went back and helped at Roswell because a guy that took the job as my defensive coordinator had called and said, look, I lost some coaches. We need an older guy. I said, thanks. He said, will you come back? I said, sure I will. And it was during that year that I got a call from Blessed Trinity. And for me, I was a little worried about it because I had spent 6 months at a private school, which really wasn't my wheelhouse. My wheelhouse was always, I just had a great affection for those kids in the public school, particularly those kids that went without. And we spent a lot of time investing in a lot of those kids. And at the public school, you had a lot of kids. At the private school, a lot of kids that didn't seem to have those same type of needs. So when Blessed Trinity called, I went and I pulled up in the parking lot and I thought, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I don't think this is going to work. I was talking with another larger school in the state, and they had offered a job, and I thought, I'll go over there. And every time I walked in, it just didn't feel right. I go into Blessed Trinity, and it's a Catholic school, and it's a private school, and it's everything that I'm not. And I thought, I don't know how this is going to go. But I sat and talked with the principal, and all of a sudden, the things that he wanted, the vision that he had for that school, really kind of lined up with what I thought that I would be able to offer. And so I said, okay, this will be a post-retirement thing. I'll just go for a couple of years, and I'll see if we can move the needle with the program, and we'll see where it goes. And now 8 years later, this has happened. And it's just been a tremendous opportunity and a really neat, unexpected time of life for me. Preston, I wanted to introduce because when I went there, what the school offered that I didn't have at the public school was they had on staff certified trainers who actually teach students how to be trainers. And I got to meet Preston and work with him, and he just went with me down to the courthouse, or down to the commissioner's office, and we spoke a little bit down there. But Preston does a really unique thing too, and I'd love for him in just a few minutes just to say a word to you. But he takes students and actually trains them in the field of physical therapy, and so if anybody in here needs some work today, he can work on you. And he's just remarkable, and he's regarded as one of the top guys in the state of Georgia. Has worked extensively with Joe O'Toole with the Atlanta Hawks, if you remember Joe O'Toole with them. Has worked extensively with Georgia Tech, now works with the Silverbacks. Anybody know the Silverbacks? You know the Silverbacks?
My brother used to play for them.
That's great. It's a professional team, and soccer's just taken off, and so Preston works with them. And then most recently, a trainer for and with, get this now, the Harlem Globetrotters.
Yeah.
And so, Preston and I have developed a great friendship. But what he does for our students, they have a staff of 3, and then they take the students and teach them, and they've got kids, I guess, Preston, all over the country that are now working in this field in Division I programs all over the country. So we'll open it up for questions in a couple of minutes, but Preston does a great job. If any of you have kids that are interested in that field, colleges are begging for those kids. And so it's really pretty good. I mentioned football as a platform. We're not always comfortable with that, but it is an opportunity for us just to share with you. And so I hope you get something out of this. I'm just going to talk about 3 things today, and I sent the Dory this morning, I texted. So if you don't mind, just put up there success and winning, and then adversity. And the reason I asked her to do that is this is like being at the closing table and people do a switcheroo on you, right? We don't talk about success and we don't talk about winning. We never talk about winning a football game with our football team. We don't do it. What I have found is that at this point in my career, it's really a unique opportunity because I'm drawing my retirement from TRS, from a previous employer for 30 years. And so what I've discovered is the best job you will ever have and the best job you will ever do is a job that you don't have to have or do. When you can get into that situation, you're able to call it like it is. And if it's bad, you have the opportunity to walk away. And I feel very blessed to be in that situation, and that has worked out really, really well over at Blessed Trinity. So I'll hit those 3 things real quick. What I'm going to talk to you about is how we try to deal with student athletes today, which, by the way, it's a real challenge. I hear people all the time say, well, the kids today, the kids today, the kids today. I started this business in 1981, and the kids today are exactly like they were in 1981. What's changed is everything around them. You know, the culture, the phones, the social media, which is a real challenge for us. You know, the political climate these kids have to grow up in our country, and you know, so it opens up a real opportunity for us to talk about some things. Hopefully this relates to a little bit of what you guys do as well. I will tell you this, with football, it's not always as it seems. You know, the product you see on the field, there's a lot of things behind the scenes. I really enjoyed listening to your meeting because we do this. You know, our staff meeting is very similar to this, and talk about goal orientation and opportunities and things like that. So you guys are probably in a similar situation, because right now what you're doing is you're working on an individual basis, but you're working as a team. That's an interesting dynamic. And that's the challenge that we face, you know, when we face with schools and kids, and we want to talk about them, because it is a self-absorbed world that they're living in right now. And it's all about them. So it's not always as it seems. I'll give you another example. Courtney mentioned I'm look, Coach of the Year for the state, this year National Coach of the Year. I've got news for you. I've got good players. I've got great players. If anything falls on her, it's because of you. And there are a lot of coaches that are friends of mine in the state of Georgia, bust their ass every single day to go 5-5 and never get in the playoffs or never advance into a state championship game. So the difference is we've got kids that can really play. I've got 5 guys this year that are just phenomenal guys. We've got a running back going to Ohio State. We've got a quarterback that just committed to Air Force Academy. I've got a linebacker going to Notre Dame. Right, 2 other guys that are going to be committing on February 5th. So, you know, we're very blessed. But when I said things aren't always it seems, so I couldn't help but laugh. My father, her grandfather was a Baptist minister. I grew up in a small farming town, which, by the way, is now called Crabapple, Georgia. Anybody been there? Yeah. Right? Okay. There was one church, 400 people. Everybody had their gardens, right? And if you weren't at church on Sunday, everybody knew, you know, and now look at Crabapple. So, you know, things just changed so much. But anyway, when I said it's not as it seems, did anybody watch the playoff games the other night? And, you know, the big call now, matter of fact, I think a lawsuit's been filed, 1 or 2 lawsuits in New Orleans. Did y'all see those games? Yeah. Those were good games, right? I sat at breakfast the other morning. I went to Eggs Up Grill and I sat down and next to this guy, and I said, hey, what do you think about the game? Well, I don't really watch football. So I got up and left. I wasn't going to sit there. So not everybody's a fan, but if you watch the games, but before the pass that everybody's talking about, by the way, those poor officials will never call another game. They won't. They'll be blackballed from big games in the NFL. It's going to be really difficult for them. The speed at which that play happened, you can't fathom. It was an amazing thing. So I'm sure that official was kind of caught in a moment. You know, it's one of those things. What was interesting was a couple of plays before, it was 3rd and 12, and the flag goes because the official thought that somebody hit Brady in the helmet. You remember that? And extended the drive, and right? So it wasn't, as it said, they showed the replay, and there was no contact on that. You know, so it's just a lot of times, you know, you're dealing with the unseens in this sport. Catholic Coach of the Year, National Catholic Coach of the Year. I'm not Catholic, you know. And I asked my wife, I said, "You think I ought to tell them?" She said, "No, just be quiet." So I went to my AD. I said, "Ricky, we can't." He said, "Yeah, it's okay." So, they came in and we did all that, but we've really enjoyed that. The 3 topics: success, winning, adversity. So here we go. Let's hit success real quick. Number 1, when I said we don't talk about it, we don't. We struggle with it, okay? Because what we're trying to blend is we're trying to blend the fact that kids want to be successful. Programs want to be successful. And what we found with that is that a lot of times the focus on trying to be successful is really counterproductive to what it is we're trying to accomplish. You know, it's a team goal, and the individual goals that tend to creep in on that can really cause some problems for you at times. With us, what we run into is on the individual side, the kids are getting this trainer and that trainer, and they're paying this guy. You wouldn't believe what parents pay. Some of you may be guilty, to have people train their kids, and it's all about these kids being successful. What happens is the message they get is a real me message. And that's why I said that's really counterproductive to what it is that we, me is in direct conflict with we that we're trying to do. So let me give you just a real quick thing, if you don't mind. I do this with my team, so hope you don't mind. But when we talk about it, here's what we say, okay? We want to take the word success, and we want to replace it with the word significant. Both words start with an S. It couldn't be further apart. I'll give you an example, okay? Hope you'll do this. I know I'm dealing with adults. I want you to close your eyes. I want you to visualize in your mind somebody who is ultra successful in the world of sports. All right, let me have it. Who we got?
Roger Federer.
Give me a hand. Give me a hand. Jordan. Michael Jordan, my favorite. Who?
Tom Brady.
Brady. Who else?
Roger Federer.
Drew Brees. Drew Brees.
Roger Federer.
Roger Federer.
Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods, my favorite. Change the game of golf. Right? You got these guys? Let's try it one more time. Let's close your eyes again. Somebody in the world of entertainment. Somebody in the world of entertainment. Ultra successful. All right. Open your eyes. Who we got?
Barbara Streisand.
Who you got?
Tyler Perry.
Tyler Perry. Who else?
Barbara Streisand.
Barbara.
There we go.
She's still living?
Happily.
Who else?
Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood. Did you see the Mule?
Oh, that's a good movie.
Awesome. By the way, if you want to go see a great movie, go see The Upside. Most inspirational movie I've seen this year. Please go see The Upside. Right? It's one of those life-changing things. Who else in entertainment? One or two more?
Oprah. Bradley Cooper.
Cooper.
Corrected.
I'm sorry? Who else? Anybody else? All right, you got it? So we can see those people. Those are the models, right? Now, if you were to ask our football players, right, or any student at Blessed Trinity, or any student at Milton High School, Ross High School, Centennial, wherever, right, they know those people. They model those people. Years ago, there was an NBA player who famously said, they said, hey, Charles Barkley, Charles, do you ever work, your actions, you're a role model. He said, I'm nobody's role model. He couldn't have been more wrong. Leadership's a great thing if it's going in the right direction. Problem is, Charles didn't realize where he stood. He now does. I think he's going to go back and revisit that statement. But here's the deal. Our kids today, they see that, right? They model themselves after that. Look at what they wear. Look at how they dress. Watch the players on the field, right? And then go watch a high school game, and see that we call it the extras. They have the uniforms, but it's all the extras, okay? So that's the deal. Success. We see it, right? We model it. We chase it. Let's try one more. Close your eyes. Now let's flip the word from success, and I want you to envision somebody who in your life, probably at a difficult or an adverse time, was significant to you at a time when you needed it. Open your eyes. You don't have to call a name, maybe give me a title. Anybody? Anybody have a grandparent? Parent?
My dad.
Aunt? Uncle? Right? Minister? Youth leader? Teacher? That's the difference. That's the difference. So we find great success in moving towards significance in our program. I'll share a couple of things with you real quick. Players focus on success. They're me guys. When a player takes his focus off of success, all of a sudden, if he understands the word significance, all of a sudden his motives, his directives begin to involve other people. People who are successful, what do they pursue? Their focus is on the job, their titles, their recognitions, their goals, their compensation, their position. Sometimes we're so busy chasing success that we forget about the people who should be most significant in our life. Significant people focus on the needs of others. I realize I'm not at Catholic high school, okay? But I do want to tell you that we have a verse that we've adopted, okay? Whatever your thoughts are on the scriptures, we adopted this years ago. We put it in our programs on our website, and it's Philippians 2:2. And Paul says in that, at that time in his life, he's writing a letter to a church, a group of people who at the time undergoing great persecution. And he was in prison, and he was facing death. So if I'm writing a letter to the people of Philippi, I'm saying to them, hey, get me out of here, do whatever you can. Does anybody know a good sheriff? Does anybody know a judge? That's not what he said. He basically said that I have a goal for you as a group of people. I have three things that are important. He lays out for us a model of success and teammanship that was really neat, and it transcends into all of our businesses. He wants them to do three things. He said, number one, I would that you be like-minded, have the same passion, and sharing one goal. Like-minded, same passion, one goal. Like-minded, same passion, one goal. Like-minded, we get along, we agree. Same passion, one goal. And that works for us. And so for us, our kids take that, and it's remarkable. I'll give you a real quick story. I've got a defensive lineman signing with Middle Tennessee State. He is a violent football player. He is an unusual kid. Okay? I love him. And he's just one of those guys. But I don't really see him as being somebody who's significant. So this year, we had a young boy in our program named Danny. And Danny had a hard time getting things right. Danny's not a very good player. He's not there on time. Right, he's one of those guys as a football coach, it's easy to discard. So I'm in Danny's face one day because Danny had done a lot of things he shouldn't have done. Right, and after practice I get a knock on the door, right, and in walks this defensive lineman, JR. Coach, can I talk to you? I said, sure. Can you go easy on Danny? I said, what are you talking about? He said, Coach, Danny's struggling with high anxiety. And when he gets nervous, he pulls his hair out. I didn't know that. This works. To take a kid that is that good, that violent, right, that athletic, and now all of a sudden his eyes are on a kid that has no chance at all to play, it was remarkable. That's something I'll take from this season the rest of my life. You know, the great thing about being in education is we get to be the benefactors. We get to learn. And so I'm just thrilled that he did that. It changed the way that I looked at Danny. Every day, you know, it's just an amazing thing. This year we asked the guys, we said, okay, 7 years we've been on Philippians 2:2, like-minded, same passion, one goal. Read 2 verses beyond that, and Paul says something really remarkable. He said in verse 4 of chapter 2, Paul said, look after not only your own needs, but also to the needs of others. Those of you who are familiar with the book of Philippians, you'll know, look not only to your own needs, but also to the needs of others. So we adopted that this year, and we pulled it into our team. Guys, I'm going to be honest with you. One of the best things we've done this year in football is get our minds off of football. You know, we've talked to our kids about the fact that there are so many other things out there that are critical, that are important. So how do we emphasize significance with 110 football? We got 500 kids on campus. We have 110 kids playing. We decided this year to take Monday, every Monday, which tells them the most important thing we're going to do this week is this. We don't go straight to the locker room. We go into the media center and we meet. We have what we call Virtue Day. Virtue Day. And there's a virtue of the week. Sometimes it's patience. Sometimes it's perseverance. Sometimes it's courage. We did it all season. I had a good friend named Mark Tolcher. Mark's one of our theology professors at the school. But Mark is also a coach, so he has a way to kind of blend those. And he would come in and we would do a 20-minute meeting with our football team, you know, on the topics of virtue. And I think one of them, it was empathy. And then that week, we heard the report from Pike County, Georgia, that a young boy had died on the football field. I don't know if y'all remember that, but that kid passed away on the football field, right, had a heart condition and went out. Just broke my heart. I had a friend about 25 years ago at Wheeler High School who lost a player. He never coached again. And it was during the heat, you know, of the summer. And the kid basically, what happened was they were at a camp, had a river, the kid left it, burning up, jumps into the water. It was cold, had a heart attack, right? He never coached again. So this thing with Pike County, so I wrote a letter to the coach just to let him know, you know, hey, listen, you know, I'm thinking about you. I know this has got to be really difficult. I mean, how that weighs on a coach is just unbelievable. On Monday, we took the Virtue of the Week and we pulled the roster up and we listed all their players. You can go on there now, look and see. And like, so our number 1 wrote their number 1. Our number 32 wrote their number 30. We wrote those kids, every player on our football team wrote letters to those kids. We heard back from the family. It was amazing. And our kids had a chance to realize once again that this football platform that we all stand on and worship and get excited about and file lawsuits over an official's call, right? Really? That made an impact. Linebacker, J.D. Bertrand, going to Notre Dame. Any Notre Dame fans in here? This kid sees things before they happen. J.D. in the semifinal game went down with an injury and didn't tell us. And then finally came to us. What do you have? MCL. Sprained MCL. This kid who has been a starter for 4 years in our program, and our captain is going to miss the state championship game. We could have braced him up. We discussed it. We worked up. Couldn't get him on the field. Right? So that was, you talking about adversity, right? You know how he dealt with it? The day before the game, he came in my office. He said, I need to show you something. I said, what? Pull up his phone. He's number 16. The number 16 kid at Pike County had written him, you don't know me, but I want to tell you what your letter meant. Isn't that great? That's bigger than any state championship game you play. That's an amazing thing. In your job, in your dealings with people, you know, I don't know how to apply it to this, but I can tell you this, right? There's a real estate agent in this office who helped me buy a house about 2.5 years ago after we had lived in one for 26 years. And I cried like a baby leaving that place because I realized that that house was my home. And the next house, any house, because I raised my kids there. Anything after that is just going to be a house. Now you have a chance to buy, you know, you have a chance to put people in homes every day. How cool is that? Right? That's an addict's, I mean, that's significant. It's a big deal. You're also probably moving people my age facing retirement out of their homes into a house. You need to be conscious about that, you know. Carol Kozlowski was the agent that led us to our first house in 1982. I still remember her. Isn't that great? I forgot who she worked with. So anyway.
She didn't stay in touch.
Yeah. I couldn't find her after the pipes burst, but it was all right. All right, so we start Monday off, Dory, with Virtue of the Week. Right? It's been a really good thing. A couple other things we did. Ready? We've done this every year. September, that is Homestretch or Title I School Month. We take our football team. Homestretch is an organization in Roswell. Anybody here work in Roswell? Anybody go up there? If you know about Homestretch. Homestretch takes homeless families, usually headed up by single moms, and puts them into housing temporarily. And then North Fulton Community Charities does this awesome thing. They take those people in and they teach them how to do a budget. They teach them how to buy groceries. They teach them how to, they give them the skills they need to become, right? The worst thing you can do, right, is give somebody some support that, and then all of a sudden it erodes their skills and they have to stay there, right? Our goal should be to help people to become independent, self-sufficient. Well, Homestretch does that. So what we do, we take a football team, we go clean those houses. Toilets, sinks, closets, yard, right? It's a great, and those kids are great, they love it. That's September. In October, each one feed one through the North Fulton Community Charities, right? We do a food drive for them, and we talk about the number of people that we have an opportunity to feed. That's in October. November, each one clothes one. We do a coat drive. And the kids, they bring the coats in, and we make them get them dry cleaned. I was shocked this year at the number of kids that went out and bought new coats for the kids in the community, right? And then we get into December, and it's called Football Christmas. So we buy footballs, right? Last year we got 100. This year we were down to 80. We got 80 footballs, and we bag them up as Christmas presents, take them to North Fulton Charities. They say BT on there, right? Because I'm sure one day, one of those kids is going to be a good football player. He's going to come to our place, right? So we put BT football on there, and North Fulton gives them out for Christmas presents. And we talk to the kids about, hey, listen now, on Christmas morning, don't forget now, think about the fact somebody's opening that football, which is a pretty good deal. So aside from football, right, if we can, in our job, and you in your job, think about ways to become significant, it has a really neat way, right, of minimizing the things that we tend to complain about. Got it? Yes. By the way, when we do those things, everybody's in the starting lineup. Everybody's a player, right? Everybody has the same investment. Everybody's getting the same compensation. Winning, we never talk about winning. We talk about the process. Process is huge. Matter of fact, kids sometimes are a little disturbed, but in the pregame speeches, a lot of times I'll say, okay, guys, look, don't worry about where we're going with this thing, right? You just take it play by play. Let's worry about the process. So for us, being significant is part of the process. A couple of things on that. What is a process? Process for us is focused on the little things, right? It's the little things in your job that make you big. In today's world, kids want to get big in a hurry. Listen, I have parents, and they'll bring their kids over, and they'll say, Coach, we want them to come to your school, and I want to show you this Huddle. Huddle is it's an online where we can go look at highlights. Everybody does a highlight on their kids, right? And they're the most boring things in the world to watch. But you act interested, you know that smile, right? So you act like you're interested, right? And you watch it, and they're all like, Coach, swear to goodness, got a great kid going tonight, Coach. He's already been hit up by the recruiters. Really? Yeah. The recruiters from Michigan and the recruiters. There are no recruiters, right? There are only people that want to get into the pockets of families. So if you'll give me $1,000, I'm going to get your son a highlight film, and I'm going to send it to Michigan, because guess who I know, right? So we see that all the time. So we don't talk about the winning, and we try to we want to work on the process, and the process begins with things that are really uncomfortable, right? Let's do the things that we don't like to do, and let's do it well, and then we'll move on to the next thing. The process is the things that we're going to intentionally do that will take us to where we go. At our practice, all the time on the field, especially Coach Thompson, I'll tell you about my staff in just a minute, we talk about the eyes, okay? And we tell our guys, look, it's very important to be, get this, target fixated. We want our players, we want you to be target fixated. But there's a key. You have to select a worthy target. If a player's eyes are on the wrong thing, right, because your eyes are going to naturally take you to where they want you to go. We talk about two sets of eyes. Physical eyes, and there's the eyes of your heart. Where's your focus? Where are the eyes of your heart taking you to be? We talk to the kids about making sure that they're target fixated on what it is that they want to do. I want to make sure I got everything here. I wrote this down, I'll share it with you. Eyes fixated on personal success will miss the concept of significance. Eventually that leads to a personal struggle, and a lot of times that can lead to loneliness and emptiness. Eyes fixated on significance will experience some pretty cool things. Peace, joy, fulfillment, camaraderie, community, right? Those are the things that we want to fix our eyes on. So with our football players, we talk about your eyes, your eyes, your eyes. You listen to Coach Thompson, eyes, we talk about that. The kids learn to look at the right thing. All right. Real quick. Had a chance to coach at Roswell. Had a young man that came through, and as a young boy, I had played with his father and his uncle. His father was Leonard Phillips, best athlete I've ever seen. Father was Tony Phillips, two-time world champion with the Oakland A's. Best friends to Ricky Henderson. We grew up playing together. Their son Jermaine, you know, I had a chance to coach him. So Jermaine left us, went to the University of Georgia. From the University of Georgia, by the way, who remembers Prop 48? Remember that term? Prop 48 on the heels of, oh gosh, who was the lady that turned it all upside down up there academically? Jane Kemp. So what happened was Jermaine went in as a Prop 48. He had the GPA, he didn't have the test score. So the NCAA said, look, we'll create a Prop 48 and here's the deal. We'll accept you at the University of Georgia, but, right, you're ineligible for your first year. If you're on track with all A's and B's at the end of your first year, you gain your eligibility, right? And you gain a 5th year. So it became like a redshirt year. Jermaine Phillips was the first player in the United States to graduate in 4 years as a Prop 48 player. Phenomenal. Drafted by Tampa Bay, his first year they win the Super Bowl. He got a big ring, a lot bigger than that one, right? He's got a ring. He graduated. I thought, what are we going to do? Here comes a little kid named Chris Reese. Chris Reese, he walks into our program, goes to Georgia Tech, right? Started 4 years for. So for 6 years, I've got 2 guys who are all ACC, all SEC. Both of them go to the. Chris went to New Orleans, won the Super Bowl with them. So I got 2 guys that I'm thinking I'm a really good coach. And then the next year we had, I don't remember who. You know, it wasn't very good. Really interesting thing to think about with this success and significance. Both of those guys, when they came out of the NFL, I had a chance to work with. So Jermaine was on my staff this year. Chris came back, started an organization called Breakout Training, and so they came over and started training our kids in the summertime. But both of those guys, for 12 to 24 months, really struggled. I didn't realize. A guy coming out of the NFL, it's very common, right? Anybody want to guess what they experience when they come out? Depression. The syndrome, it's called when the lights go out. Lights have gone out, right? Gone was the exhilaration, the contact. I sat and met with Ron Haynes, running back for Pittsburgh Steelers. Ron told me, he said, Coach, he said, my whole life they told me how to turn this thing on, that violent player I told you about. He said, Coach, nobody's ever told me how to turn it off. And these men at age 30 are empty, you know, and they've got 60 years to live. We talked about the pursuit of significance, and I got to tell you, those guys are great. Yes, sir.
I've experienced that.
You've been through it?
Depression afterwards.
Bingo. It's a real thing, man.
Yeah.
You know, and the problem is the more you get to focus on yourself, the deeper you get. So with both of those guys, right, we had a chance to really have a great session. We talked a little bit, and Jermaine decided his marriage was falling apart. 2 kids. And he said, I got to give back. Said, man, he spends all his time with his sons. He and his wife have reconciled, you know, and he is now coaching high school kids. Chris walks into my office and said, Coach, I got to talk to you. I said, what? He said, I'm not going to do breakout trial. I said, you just started this company. He goes, I know. I said, what are you going to do? He said, man, he said, I can't explain it, but it's right here. I said, what's right there? He goes, this calling. I said, what do you mean? He goes, I'm going into the ministry. He's in Louisiana now. If you look, REIS has written a great book, by the way, right? Chris Reese, right? Wrote a book about having a father who was addictive and abusive. His father now, right, joins him in writing that book. His father, because of him, has converted and has found his faith. And Chris is now leading young people at this mega church down in Lafayette, Louisiana. You know, so guys, it always goes back to these guys had success. It took them to a dark place. And it was significance that carried them out. So the winning, the success, all that goes away. With the adversity, a couple of things I'd like to say. is actually we do talk about adversity with our guys, and we tell our guys to welcome it and to embrace it. Now, how stupid is that? High school kids do anything. You take your adversity and you welcome it, right? Because if you do follow your faith, and if your faith does lead you to the scriptures, in the book of James, which, by the way, when you read the book of James, listen, if you're a Democrat in his room, that's a great book for you. I'm not kidding. I'm serious about that. It's written by the brother of Jesus. And the book of James is awesome because it talks about our social responsibility in this world. And it's good stuff. Okay? And so in the book of James, the quote in there, which is really unique, says, "Count it all joy when you encounter trials and tribulations." Here's what we know about adversity. We talked to the guys. First of all, we're going to prepare for adversity before it happens. Right? In your field, I guess if you see an economic downturn coming, right, you don't wait. Right? And what we know about football is that, man, when you when you put your feet between those lines, that's an adverse situation. Right? Those kids do it realizing that their career can be over at any second on that field. So they know what they're getting. They know it's an adverse situation. Okay? It's a combat sport. I would imagine so is real estate. Right? So, with adversity, we want to prepare for it before it happens. It's going to happen. Now, the problem with adversity is it comes from two sources. You can put them in one or two boxes, right? There's adversity that hits you from outside sources, and then, and we don't always see that coming, but we do expect it, right? Because you just can't depend on what people are going to do or say or think, or, situations, natural disasters. We have those kinds of things, right? The second type of adversity, and usually it's the worst, is the adversity that tends to be self-inflicted. The things that we do. And we look back and, you ever have one of those moments? Why did I do that? Why did I say that? Why, what was I thinking? I've had a lot of those, okay? And they're usually the most painful because they tend to involve regret, guilt, those heavy, heavy loads that if we don't pay attention to our spiritual life, we can't unload that. We can't fix it. We can't change it. For me, I don't consider it a crutch. For me, it's why I'm so appreciative of my faith. Because it allows me to say, hey, I blew it. I'm sorry. Can't change it. But I can confront it. And that's what you have to do with adversity. As a leader in your field, as a coach, as a parent, adverse times will present you with your greatest opportunities for impact. Think about your children, right? How many of you are raising a middle school girl? Right? Man, the drama. Right? Ninth grade. Holy smoke. Right? Yeah, and high school. How many of you are raising a middle school or high school boy? Right? Oh, the non-communication. How you doing, son? What'd you do today? Nothing. How's school go? It's okay. Right? What are you doing tomorrow? I don't know. Right? Guys, when James said count it all joy when you encounter trials, the fact of the matter is he's probably talking to parents and talking to business people and teachers and coaches. Because it's at that moment that you have a great opportunity. The greatest opportunity for impact. And by the way, adversity is going to present you your most teachable moments. Okay? Greatest president we've ever had, Abraham Lincoln. Two great things. Go back and take a look at what he said about it, right? If you know his history, you know the number of times that he failed in the political arena before he finally became president. His greatest saying, by the way, it's my favorite. He said, the greatest thing a father can do for his children is... Anybody want to guess? No wrong answers. Teach them, love them, what? Let them fail. Give them money. Buy them a new iPhone. Abraham Lincoln said the greatest thing a man can do for his children is to love their mother.
Dang.
That's good stuff. That goes back to what are the eyes of your heart fixated? Target fixation.
You got 2 minutes.
I'm getting ready to go. The problem with adversity is not adversity. The problem is fear. Fear is the problem. Fear of losing, fear of failing, fear of letting people down, fear of what others are going to say, what they're going to think. Okay? By the way, whatever you think of the Bible, historical, or whether you believe it, the most repeated command in the Bible is fear not. It's in the Bible 365 times. That may give us a little insight of what God wants for us. Real quick summary. Here's what we do. There's 7 points. Number 1, be a significant teammate. Number 2, commit to a process. Make sure it's worthy. Number 3, place the eyes of your heart on the right people and places and things. I'll go back to that in just a minute. Number 4, prepare for and embrace adversity. Number 5, don't be afraid. Number 6, understand that your job is not who you are. It's just something you do. And you make sure your family understands that too. You can get another job. You can't get another family. Number 7, be intentional in searching out your faith. I really, really appreciate you guys, Dory, letting me come in. And if there's anything I can ever do, or if you have anything, any interest, if you want to take a look at Blessed Trinity Catholic High School, you make sure you give us a call. Preston, I'd love to have you up. You know, yes, sir. Any questions before we go?
Both of my daughters went to Blessed Trinity. They graduated. When we heard that you were going to come to be our football coach, we were elated beyond belief.
That's because you didn't know me.
No, we watched you very closely at Roswell High School. But we have 2 objectives for you as among my parents.
Okay.
So when you walk out that door today, there's 2 things you're going to have to continue to do. Number 1, beat St. Pius. And beat Maris. And that's all you got to do.
We've got both of those under control right now. Guys, a year ago, we had no business winning the state championship because I looked at it and I said, okay, if we're going to win in the 2nd round, we've got to travel to Cartersville and beat this tall kid by the name of Trevor Lawrence. The quarterback. So the other night, when they said on TV, and Dabo said it, and I have a friend on that staff, and he said, you know, Trevor Lawrence is, he's never lost a game as a starter. I'm like, that liar! I know you're lying, and we got it, but we beat him up there. We won a game we had no business winning. But I will tell you this, man, we were target fixated. Our kids were just ready, they were ready to go. So, you know, and if you ever work in your local communities to help out at the high schools and stuff, man, do it. It's these kids are great. There's just so much around them today that makes life difficult for them. It's confusing.
Anybody else have any questions for the coach? I want to thank you for
Thank
coming.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you. I gotta go.
Thank you all. You know what the calendar of events is coming up this next week or so. So put in your calendar, come to classes, and we hope to have more great speakers like Coach McFarlin. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.